Well, greetings, everybody. How the heck are you guys doing today? I can see your chat function, so go ahead and drop a comment inside of the chat box and just let me know how you are feeling today. It's good to see you all. My name is Karissa Kouchis. You can call me KK if you'd like. Hi, Elizabeth. I am Tony Robbins' national speaker. So usually I get on calls like this or I speak across the country and people are like, what does that mean? You're a national speaker for Tony Robbins. And I hope all of you know who Tony is. We should start with that, honestly. I travel the US globally also when we're not in the middle of a global pandemic. And I train companies, teams, groups, organizations in the areas of leadership, success habits, mindset, psychology, the psychology of sales, sales and influence, or what I like to say, overall badassery. If I've said one topic that to you is like, wow, that's exciting, that could really support me at this time in my business or life, I want you to just put yes in the comment box. If I've said one topic that for you feels like, hey, that's something I'm either A, interested in, or B, that would really support me where I am at right now. Like, how many of us just want to make more money, close more deals, live better, snazzier, more energetic, enriching lives? You are in the right place. So usually when I get on these calls, I've done over 1,000 events for Tony Robbins at this point. I can hardly believe it. I've spoken on stages across the US, big and small groups, couple thousand people. My largest event that I did was 400,000 people, and that was a couple months ago on one of our virtual stages. And then just last month, we did Unleash the Power Within, which is Tony's biggest event that he's been doing for over 43 years. And we had about 40,000 people on that. So really great breadth and depth of human beings in all different industries. And what I love to say when I get on another event, when I'm kind of the outsider coming in to be part of your team today, I'm not here today because I'm so great and I know all these awesome things and I'm the best in the world and you should listen to me. I truly just know a guy that knows a hell of a lot. And sometimes I'm like, how am I even here? Truly. But I get to work in such close proximity with a giant, a titan, author, best-selling author, speaker, philanthropist, global change agent, a disruptor at this point in Tony Robbins' career. If you know who Tony Robbins is, you guys can just put yes in the comment box so I can see. Let me know if you know who he is. If you don't know who he is, if maybe you've been to an event. Stephanie says, yes, for freaking women in sales. All right. So Tony, you guys, #1 success coach on the planet. It is what it is. #1 success coach on planet Earth. At this time in his career, 43 years in, he's worked with over 50 million people from 100 different nations. He's a leader called upon by other leaders, people that you all know, people like Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, Hugh Jackman, Russell Crowe, Mark Benioff, the founder of Salesforce.com. How many of you are using Salesforce.com? Give me a yes in the comment box, right? And I think we might need to pin the video. Lisa, if you hover over the 3 dots on my name, could you click spotlight for me? Let's see if that, oh, good. Okay, maybe I can, hopefully that worked for you. So people you all know. Other than that, you have 4 of the 5 past U.S. living presidents that have worked with Tony Robbins. You have people like Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, all the way to people like Julianne Hough, someone that I love. She just created that dance movement called Kinergy. I don't know if anyone's seen that. I was just with her the other week at one of our events. She's such an awesome human. And then you have people like Conor McGregor, fighter. You have people like, Michael Jordan. How many of you know Michael Jordan? Hand up in the air. Great. So Tony is the leading authority in leadership, negotiation, peak performance. It doesn't matter the industry that you're working in. But what's really cool about today is that I get to spend time with you, and guess who's also in sales? When I started with Tony 2 years ago, I had the exact role that Tony had for Jim Rohn when he began his career. He worked for Jim Rohn for 7 or 8 years, and he would travel around the US on foot, cold calling, walking into businesses, and he would influence people to go to Jim Rohn's events. And when I started with Tony 2 years ago, I became the first woman in the last decade, and I don't even share this to impress you, just to impress upon you that you can learn skills really fast because all it comes down to is your mentality. And so I started working for Tony in a role where you would walk in, he would literally say, KK, go pick up a pebble, throw it, and wherever it lands, that's your next lead. And you walk in, and I would cold walk into these businesses and these companies and these teams. And I'd walk in, I'd sit down with them. I'd find the DM, we call it, the decision maker. And I would sit down with them. And in about 6 minutes, I would build enough pressure or pain around, I would expose a gap and showcase to them why they needed me to come in and train their team. And within 2 years, I became a #1 producer, drove in personally just in the last year over $1.5 million in revenue with a low ticket item. And so I share this with you today because not that I want to impress you at all, but I want to impress upon you, you can create the results that you want in your life, whether you're somebody that is has been in sales for a long time. Maybe you just got in. Maybe you are a single show in your household and you're trying to create the income to support your family, or you're dabbling in sales on the side because you're tired of having a fixed income and you want to have something uncapped. How many of you are relating to something I'm saying right now? All of the skill sets that you need to produce the results that you want in your life, be it financial results, be it something spirituality, your congruency, your alignment. If you feel like there is another level for you, today I'm going to share with you some of the distinctions that I have been so blessed to learn by my boss, Tony Robbins. If he was here, he'd be like this. You can't tell, but I'm 4'11" and a half. People always think I'm really tall when I get on Zoom trainings, but I'm very, very, very short. So when Tony and I stand next to each other, you guys have probably seen on Instagram, if you follow me there, I've got some pictures and it's like literally, he's so tall. He's like 6'8". If he was in the room right now, he would say, listen, if you're on this call and you have a commitment to going to another level, there's only one muscle in your entire body that you need to focus on today. There's only one muscle in your entire body. If your business is not where you want to be, if your financials is not where you want to be, if your sales calls aren't going the way you want them to go, it comes down to one muscle in your entire body. And when you control this one muscle, with some of the skill sets I'm going to share with you today, you control this one muscle, it'll create such radical results in your business or in your life, you'll have no idea what hit you. It'll smack you in the face. How many of you are ready for that today? Give me a hand up. Even if I can't see you, throw your hand up in the air and shout yes into your computer screen, because that's what we're up for today. And I know this about you because you wouldn't have jumped on a random call on what day of the week is it? Thursday in the afternoon if you didn't have something inside of you that said, I'm committed to getting to the next level, right? Because who the heck am I? You don't know me from Eve. But you're like, all right, I know Tony Robbins. And I know that if I want to get to the next level, maybe I'll invest my most precious asset, which is your what? Time, to be here today. I don't take that lightly. I love that you're sharing your time with me today. I'm going to give you everything I have, like 100% of me, all of me. And all I ask is that you return the favor. I can't see your videos, so I'm just going to share with you guys what it looks like to participate at a level 10. We're gonna treat this event here today like it's a mini version of Tony's most popular event, Unleash the Power Within. It's a 4-day live event. It's my favorite event. It's the first event that I attended with Tony Robbins when transformed my business. I took myself from $38,000 to 8xing my income in 3 months. How many of you would like to do something like that with your sales? That happened before I started working with Tony. And then I like to say, then I got the uterus to go for this role with Tony. I had the uterus to apply for a job that I completely was not qualified for. But that's what sales is. True? That's what sales is to sell yourself to influence other people. That's what a leader does, is influence someone. So that's what we're up to today. And I believe that if you're here, it says that you've got another level inside of you somewhere. And so I want you to have the next level, everything that you deserve. But in order to do that, for some of you, this is your first time training with myself, or maybe you've trained with Tony Robbins in the past. What we like to do is participate at what we call a level 10. So I'm going to quickly walk you through a few of those participation requirements. Basically, if you're sitting down in your seat like this, 7th grade algebra, information's going in one ear, out the what? Other. And your retention level is normally at about 10% with a physiology like that. So what we want to do is raise your retention level today to about a 90%, because some of the nuggets you're going to learn, if you can retain them, it'll transform the way that you walk into a sales call. It'll transform the way you work inside of your business, even in your relationships, even if in your physical body, if that's what you care about. So today, first thing that we are going to do to change our energy, change our focus, is to create a radical shift in our physiology or the way we hold our body. So really quick on your end of the screen, everyone just move and sit like a leader. Just sit like the most badass version of yourself. Sit like the most badass version of yourself. Okay, so what happened? Our shoulders went back. We let the girls out to play, right? We lifted our head up. We put our feet on the ground. Some of you got up off the couch. Whatever it is that you did, we engaged the body. Now really quick, sit the way you would sit if you were depressed. All right, how many of you went back to the exact same body position you were in when we started the call? And then you're asking me, why the heck am I depressed? Because we practice this stuff, right? We're making, you wouldn't want to buy anything from me, would ya? We're in such a poor emotional and physical state, and then we try to influence someone. How many of you see this right now? So for us to change our brain power, to change our focus, we first start with our body. And then the other things, you guys, shout back answers in your end of the computer screen today. Raise your hand when I throw mine in the air. If I say, give me a yeah, baby, I want you guys to jump in the comment box and write yeah, baby. This is today my only way to communicate with you because I don't have your videos on the screen. So the comment box is gold. So this is the way I'll connect with you. If I want to work with you one-on-one, I'm going to talk with you here. So basically, this is a huge ego trip for me. I need to see the comment box rolling, all right? That's what a leader does, is someone that goes first. So if I'm like look at Stephanie Ewell, freaking crushing it. Look at that. Erickson says sweet. Roseanne, yeah, you guys are amazing. I love it. All right, let's test out the comment box right now. How many of you want to make more money this year? Let me see comment box. Great. Let me see how many, we got 38 people, so it should be like 38 responses. You should have your hands resting on the keyboard, ready to fire off, right? How many of you want tighter butts this year? Just saying. How many of you want more energy this year? More vitality this year? More focus this year? More connection with your clients? How many of you want to sell from a place of comfort and passion? Enroll with a vision. Amy says, amen. All right, you're crushing the comment box. Then you guys are in absolutely the right place. So let me ask you this question. Are you a committed team today? Are you committed to all of those results financially, congruency? Are you 100% committed? Is this a team? Because a rising tides raise all what? Boats. We are going to do this together. And I'm the outsider today. But if you'll let me be a part of your team today, I promise I'm a fun team player. If you'll allow me to be a part of your team today, we can take this thing to unimaginable levels. Are you down for it? Can I be a part of your team today? Can I be a part of your team today? Give me a heck yes in the comment box right now. If that's cool with you guys, I want to make sure. Okay, awesome. Let's light this bad boy on fire. Let's jump right in. I want to jump right into what's going to move the needle for you in your business. So you're going to notice I talk really fast. One, it's because our shortest event is 50 hours long. Unleash the Power Within is a 4-day event, 50 hours, all right? So this is supposed to be a mini version of that. I've got a lot to do in 45 minutes here. So buckle up. Second reason I talk fast is because I have a ton of passion. Are you guys able to keep up with me today? Yes? I want to give you what you came for. And my promise to you is that if you play all out at a level 10, this will hands down be the best hour of training you've ever had. No hyperbole, no exaggeration. You're like, that's a bold claim. It is, and we will follow through on it. Not because I'm so great, but because it was designed by the #1 success coach on the planet. All right? Tony. Kristen says, I love your promise. Okay, you guys, let's dive in. First things first. So I'm with Tony yesterday. We have a big event that's called Business Mastery. It's literally happening right now. So I spoke at the event yesterday morning. And so I'm at the event and I'm like, okay, Tony, super excited. I'm speaking on an event tomorrow, and I don't get to do this a whole lot anymore. But right now in the middle of COVID, we're doing, people pay 50 grand to have us come and speak. In COVID, we're doing these complimentary. And so I'm excited I get to be on with you today because I get to do some trainings I don't always get to do. And I was with Tony yesterday, and I was like, I'm getting on this training and I'm super excited about it. And I want to know from you, like, what do they need to know? If they were to know one major difference between someone that succeeds in sales and someone that does not, what's the difference? Do you want to know what it is? Do you want to know what the one thing is? So we have belief, we have courage. What else? Give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts. Drive. What else? Grit. What else? vision, ambition, confidence. So he said it's one thing, write this down. It's your patterns. Who can tell me what a pattern is? Who can tell me what a pattern is, right? It's something we're doing. Habit. Yes, Amy. It's like, how many of you brushed your teeth today? Okay, apparently nobody. Awesome. So we have good patterns and we have bad patterns. Some of you run good ones, some of you have bad ones. And so those patterns, whether they're good or bad, they lead to you being successful or not successful. And if you think right now in your business, and also I want to just comment, some of you are here for reasons outside of your business. Some people are, your business is doing fine and you are more interested in working with Tony because you want to maybe strengthen your marriage. You've been hanging out at home with your significant other for the first time in so long that you don't even know if you like them anymore, right? Or you have a million kids around you asking for snacks and you're busy and you're overwhelmed. Maybe it's a parenting thing, or maybe you're really focused on your physical body. Whatever the reason you're here is, I just want you to figure out what area of my life do I want to take to the next level. It'll be different for all of you. So go ahead and take a moment and just ask myself, what's one area I can think of right now that I want to take to another level? What's one area I want to take to another level? That's it. And the difference, it doesn't matter if it's sales or something else. The difference is going to be your patterns of behavior. So let me give you an example. Just everyone stretch your body out really quick. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Roll the neck, lift the shoulders back, and hold your hands up 6 inches apart, like this. And interlock your fingers and take them apart and do it again. And take them apart and do it again. And take them apart and do it again. Take them apart. Now notice when you put them back together, notice how you put the exact same thumb on top every single time. Because it's a what? It's a what? It's a pattern. By the way, if you got your left thumb over your right thumb, who got their left over their right? Research says if you got your left thumb over your right thumb, that you guys are the creative ones, you're incredibly sexy, and you tend to be amazing lovers, by the way. And if you are a right thumber, don't switch your thumbs yet, you guys. Some of you are like, shit, I want to be the sexy one, right? The right thumbers are the logical thinkers of the group, and they're most likely to produce multi-millions of dollars, all right? So I'm just saying. I'm kidding, by the way. I'm just saying if you're paying attention. But your thumbs are important because if you do something the same way over and over and over, it becomes a what? It becomes a pattern. So let's look at something else. Take your hands up 6 inches apart, and all I want you to do is put the opposite thumb on top. Ready, go. How does that feel? Weird, different, awkward, feels weird. You know, something different than normal. And when that happens, we understand that change is not always comfortable. Changing a pattern is not always comfortable. Who sees what I mean right now? How many of you are running patterns right now in your businesses? How many of you run a pattern in the way that you handle rejection? How many of you run a pattern in the food or the drink that you put inside of your mouth? How many of you run a pattern in beginning a health and fitness journey and falling off, or running a pattern in the way you communicate with yourself when you get out of the shower, you know, when you're standing there soaking wet, looking in the mirror at your body? How many of you run a pattern in the words that you say to yourself in your own brain? Everything in our life is a pattern. It's a habit of behavior. Same with your sales team, same with you as a person, same with your relationships. It's all coming down to our patterns of behavior. And so some of these patterns we do, and they start to turn into autopilot patterns. We do them without even thinking. Write that down somewhere. Autopilot pattern. Autopilot pattern. How many of you can think of some patterns that you're running that maybe you've been unaware of? How many of you can think of at least a few patterns that you run in your business or in your life that you've been doing for so long, it's just become part of who you are? What if those patterns are not taking you in a direction that you want to go? What if those patterns are taking you down a road that is not producing the results of someone of your knowledge, your talent, or your skill? When your knowledge comes up against your habits win every time, no matter what you know. I share that with you because in sales, you could start yesterday and demolish every single person that you work with. Because it doesn't matter if you have years of experience in your business or in your industry. It matters that you have exceptional patterns and habits of behavior, your activity when it comes to sales. So today, Do I have your permission to push you to the end of that comfort zone of yours? Even if I break your pattern. Give me a yes in the comment box if you're with me. Give me a yes. So the one way that we're going to do that is by sharing with you the 3 major pillars that if you focus on these pillars and these 3 pillars alone, it'll have a dramatic impact on the results that you get in your business and in your life. How many of you want to know what these 3 pillars are? Say, give it to me, KK, in the comment box. Give it to me, KK, and I will let you know. All right, awesome. Write this down. S-A-M. S-A-M. Sam. What does this mean? 3 different pillars, S-A-M. The first pillar, S, stands for strategy. This is your business plan or your action plan. How many of you have an action plan built into your schedules right now already for your business? And then how many of you are actually implementing the action plan? That's usually where we fall off. And maybe it's for health. Maybe your goal is health. Do you have a plan? You're like, yes, I'll eat healthy. And then do we implement the plan? And you're like, sometimes, right? The implementation of the plan is usually where we go south here. And then for the rest of you, do you even have a plan in place? And I ask you that not to like call you out. I'm just asking you because as leaders, we all know the common phrase, if we fail to plan, we plan to what? Fail. And today I don't want you to think about what you want necessarily. Like sometimes in sales, we get really connected to outcomes. I want to produce this and have this and achieve this. It's not really about the what we want. It's about why we want the things that we want. That's called leverage, a compelling reason why to do something. People get caught up in the tyranny of how to make it happen when it's why you're doing it that drives you through all of the BS. How many of you have ever had a time in your life where no one believed in you and you had no time and you had no money, but there was something in you that said, that goal, that thing, I will have that, I will achieve that, I will create that in my life. And you pushed past all the barriers and you just made it happen. Anybody? Has anyone ever done something like that before? At a time in your life where you just stepped up and you made something happen? It's because we have a compelling reason why. Sometimes our leverage is outdated. Maybe you started in this business, or maybe 20 years ago, you can remember waking up in the morning, can't wait to get out of bed, don't want to go to bed at night because you're so fired up about life. That's leverage. And as sales professionals, if we don't have a compelling reason why to pump out calls all day or get on foot, create videos, nurture our clients, we're not going to be taking a whole lot of action. That's just the way we are as sales professionals. We must have a compelling reason why to do something. So that's leverage. Now, the second pillar, A, stands for action. How well are you executing the strategies within your business plan? All right, I'm going to give you a power 5, we call it, 5 simple steps right now. How many calls are you making? Out of those calls, how many deals are you getting? Out of those deals, how many referrals are you generating? I'm looking at you, the person that never asked for a referral. And then out of the referrals, this is important, how many more deals do you generate out of the referrals? I remember when I started with Tony 2 years ago, and we did, the role that I had for Tony was like totally old school, boots on the ground, door-to-door sales. You don't see a whole lot of that anymore because of all the advancements in technology and in social media, but I'd literally just walk in like I was selling a printer, selling a fax machine, door to door. And I remember he used to tell me, throw the pebble wherever it lands, walk in, you book 1 meeting, you're set for the entire quarter. Why? Because out of 1 meeting, how many referrals should we generate? At least 3. At least 3. And I'll teach you how to get referrals if you guys want to know every single time you do business. I'll teach you that a little bit later if you want to know. Just say, tell us in the comment box. And if you want to know, remind me in a little bit and I will let you know. But basically, all you need to do is book 1 meeting, and you're set for the entire quarter. But you can't get referrals and then not work your referrals because then the referrals don't work for you. It's a false sense of accomplishment, right? We got a referral, but we never called them. It doesn't work like that. And then the 5th step that we want to accomplish is nurturing our clients. You know, how much love and caring are we providing for them? How are we building those relationships? Because that's really like how we make our clients feel is whether or not they want to do business with us. You know, what's our client service like? What's our follow-up like? That's client service. It's like dating or intimacy. If someone does their job right or you have a great date, you want to go back for what? More. That's what we want to provide for our clients. We want them to be so positively associated with us. They can't wait to call us. They can't wait to connect with us. They want to reach out to us because they feel so good every time they work with us. All right. And now the third pillar is the most important one, and the one that we'll focus on the rest of the day, because you could have an impeccable strategy. You could take a whole bunch of action. And is it possible that in sales you still do not hit your outcome? Is it possible that you still don't get the result that you want? Why? Because you have a strategy, maybe you make 100 calls, and then you're like, hey, I've got this product and it might work for you. I think it would be great. I is now a good time. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but if you had a second, I would share with you something if you're up for it. You know, like zero certainty, zero confidence, no mentality. The third pillar, the most important pillar, is your mindset. 80% of your success, Tony's based his entire career off of this third pillar, is your mindset. It's the ability to take consistent action every single day, have an unstoppable mental attitude, confidence in yourself, certainty in who you are, in the market, in the economy, knowing that there's opportunity everywhere around you. You're fired up every day. You're in what we call a peak state. Write that down somewhere big. Peak state. And who's got to be able to generate that state inside of yourself? That's the number one thing Tony teaches at UPW, Unleash the Power Within, which is why so many sales professionals go. Because how many of you wake up some days and you're like, oh, today's canceled. Not really into it today. I don't really want to make the calls. I've got a call coming up at 12 and I definitely don't want to get on it. You're like dreading it, right? We have those experiences from time to time. So you have to be able to control your own emotions, your own physical body, and boom, tap into it. Tap into a peak state on your command. You're determined, you're prepared, you're fired up, you're laser focused in that peak state. You do whatever it takes. You prospect daily. You make the extra calls. You ask for a referral every single time you do business. Why? Why would you do something like that? Because that's who the heck you are. It's your identity. You wouldn't have joined a business like this. I'm firing myself up right now. My neighbors are probably like, what's going on in 607, right? I'm excited. That's who you are. You wouldn't have joined this business. You wouldn't have joined sales unless that identity was innate in you somehow, some way. Birds of a feather flock where? Leaders hang out with who? Successful people hang out with who? Lazy people hang out with who? If you look around this chat right now, every single one of you that's on this call, you're a part of this community for a reason. This is what the unstoppable mindset looks like, all right? This is the reason why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It is mentality. It's the unfair competitive advantage in every single market and every single economy. How many of you know salespeople right now in this crazy pandemic that everything has changed? They've been flipped on their nose, their company turned around, things look different, and they're making more money than they've ever made in their lives. Or they've pivoted or created some type of solution. Is it possible? Is there anyone in the world that has made this work for them? So is it a bad market or a bad economy, or is it normally just a bad mindset? This is what this unstoppable mindset, it's one of the many things Tony teaches at Unleash the Power Within, because Unleash the Power Within stands for UPW. It's too many words to continue to say, but UPW, it's not just an event, it's a concept, right? Unleashing your power that's already inside of you. Unleash the power within. It's something that's in you. It's innate. It's a mentality. All right. And I'm fired up about this because we just had our event in July. We just pivoted. We went completely virtual. There was 40,000 people at it. It was beautiful from all over the world, 126 different countries. It was insane. And so when you look at UPW, like that's Tony's flagship event, 80% of this event is covering your psychology, because 80% of your success is psychology. Now, 20% of your success is where most people devote their time, their energy, their resources, and their money, and that's to the mechanics. I'm not saying mechanics are not important, like at all. I'm sure we would all agree mechanics are important. Who would agree somehow, some way, right? But how many of you know your business? Like, yeah, tell me this. How many of you know your business decently well? Like you kind of know what you're doing. You've been around the block. You've been doing it for a little bit of time. Who knows their business decently well? And then how many of you are not making the money you desire? Why? Is it because sometimes we don't do what we know? How many of you right now could create an entire list of all the things that you could do to create the income that you want this year, to create the impact that you want this year? You know, all the things you could do. And then sometimes we just don't do what we know, right? What's worse, not knowing what to do, A, or knowing exactly what to do, B, and still not doing it? Which one's worse, A or B? A or B? You tell me, A or B? Put it in the comment box, right? B, for sure. That's what we want to take care of today. We want to unlock and unleash this mentality, this transforming our mindsets. People talk about mindset all the time, but there's a difference between knowing and doing, isn't there? The drive, the will, the conviction, the determination to take action every single day to see our plans through. This is the unstoppable mindset. This type of mindset, mentality, is the unfair competitive advantage in every single economy. Knowledge is not power. Action is. The reason people don't execute, psychology. Here's the facts. 50% of salespeople right now today give up after the first time they hear the word no. 50%. Think about that. The true difference between success and failure, it takes 7 no's to begin the influence process in general. The difference between success and failure is, do you have the uterus, do you have the balls to go back again after you've been knocked down, after life has had its way with you? My favorite image of this is a wave coming up on a shore, and the wave is coming down, but it's one giant fist. And in sales, sometimes it's like that. You just get beat up, beat up, beat up. Do you have the audacity, the confidence in yourself and the product to go back again? To go back for more. Let's look at this as a team right now, because we all know if we play as a team, we win as a team. Let's look at these in terms of numbers, all right? When I started in this business a couple years ago with Tony, he did an exercise with me, and he said, KK, I want you to rate yourself right now in like from 1 to 10, okay? 10 is you are achieving everything you could possibly want to achieve, right? Like, a 1 is you're frustrated, pissed off, not getting the results that you want, stuck and frustrated. A 10 is you're doing so unbelievably phenomenal. You could write a manual on success, give it to every single person on this call, and you would all be multi-millionaires living on a yacht in Fiji. He asked me to rate myself, and I was like, well, dang, I'm like the youngest person to ever have the role. I'm working for the #1 success coach on the planet. I'm looking up and I'm like, I'm a 10. Honestly, I'm a 10. And he's like, okay. It's interesting. He tells the story to the whole room. It's like there's only 6 of us that have this role, and it's like 3,000 people apply a month. It's a very small group of people, and he's walking around, he's telling this story, and he tells a story about Oprah Winfrey. 2006, she attends Unleash the Power Within. You guys, someone on this call is bound to have been to that event, or knows about the event, or read about the event, or heard about Walking on Fire. Oprah goes, walks across the fire, rates herself on the scale, and what do you think she rated herself at? Make a decision, drop it in the comment box. What do you think she rated herself at? Drop it in, drop it in, drop it in, drop it in, drop it in. Okay, a 3. A 3. So I'm over there like crossing my knot. I'm like, if she's a 3, I'm like a -7. And I don't share that with you because I necessarily want you to compare yourself to Oprah, but I share it with you because the lesson I learned that day is a lesson I think a lot of us could benefit from. And she said, a lot of people forget what they're capable of. And they call themselves an 8, 9, or 10, but it's compared to they dropped their standard to meet their new reality. After life, after kids, after divorce, after the thing that happened 5 years ago, after we didn't reach the level of success that we always thought we would be, right? We've adjusted our standards, and then we give ourselves a rating compared to a lower standard, so of course we're higher. And then she goes, what I always try to do is I try to get back in touch with what's real, back in touch with what's the truth of what I'm really, truly capable of. Now, knowing that story, and for you, because do you think, let me know in the comment box, do you think Tony's about low standards or high standards? Which one? Low or high? For sure. How many of you are about high standards today? Give me a heck yes in the comment box. Okay, cool. So compared to your high standard, you tell me, where are you showing up right now from a 1 to a 10? Give me your number in the comments. Okay. So our average right now, we've got both sides of the spectrum. Our average right now is about, I would say, oh my God, you guys really have both sides. We have like 1s all the ways to 9s. I always say I feel bad for my 9s or 10s because like this is, you don't have a whole lot of room right here to grow. So like if whatever money you're making right now, it's going to be like about it for the rest of your life, you know? Or like best sex life you'll ever have. Like we have a little bit of margin right there from a 1 to a 10 to actually grow. But on an average, I would say we're at least like as a team averaging out at somewhere like around a 5. If we are a 5 as a team, by the way, this example is something that Tony does with my team every quarter. So I'm going to do something with you that's an insider thing. So you take notes on this, do this with your team, do with what you will with it. But if we are a 5 as a team, what does this number tell me? What does this tell us?
We can grow.
Okay, yes. It says we have room, lots of room to improve, opportunity. We have power. I love that word, Kevin. I am average, says Lynette. This is actually really good news. All this says is that 40% or 50%, right? You have another 50% here to grow. 50% of your income is being left on the table. All it says really is that we have resources available to us. We have 50% more available to us right now. Like, how many of you want a 50% raise in the next business quarter? Okay, how many of you want 50% more love, more zest, more spunk, more energy, more vitality, 50% tighter butt, 50% more connection to the world, to your creator, whatever it is, right? They say me, right? We want all of this. If there is ever a time for you to tap into 50% of your potential that has been left on the table, when would that be? When would that be? When would we tap into it? Right now, because if you have 50% available right now today, is it possible that we've had 50% available to us last week, last month, last year? Lynette says, I'm ready now. I love that. So if we want to tap into this 50% more for whatever area of life you care about, we know that we have to get what? Leverage. We need something compelling so you freaking move, right? Like sometimes Tony gave this example one time that made me laugh so hard. It was about a man that really wanted to get in shape. And he was like, well, I got to go to the gym and I got to get new gym shoes and I need new workout clothes and I'm going to hire the trainer and get the food. And it was like creating this list of all the things that needed to happen. He was like, dude, you just need to get someone behind you and say, run! Like sometimes you just need to do the dang thing. People get really locked up into learning, like shelf education, knowledge accumulation, and it's like reading about how to go swimming versus going swimming. Hugely different. How many of you right now have kids in your life? And you have kids, and if you sat down with your kid and you were like, hey, little Johnny, here's a book about how to go swimming. Finish the book and you're like, hey, let's go to a seminar about how to swim. And then you're like, hey, here's a podcast about how to swim. Is Johnny going to survive in the ocean tomorrow? So why are we learning tie downs and closing the loop and sales techniques and all this stuff, but we never freaking do it? It's the same reason people always tell me, oh, I read the Tony books, I'm not going to go to an event. Any of you on this call that have ever been to an event, it's completely different. It's like watching the World Series from your smartphone versus like being behind home plate. It's like, it's not apples to apples. We have to get in the game. So to get in the game here, to close what we call the gap from where you are to where you want to go, we've got to get some leverage. We have to understand what's the truth about why we haven't been tapping into 50% more. What's really going on here? Because a lot of times we're just not clear, so we can't close the gap. So then we go in the comfort zone another 2, 3, 5, 10, 15 years with the same limitations because we just don't know what's really in the way. So here's what I want to know. I'm going to give you 30 seconds right now. Everyone grab your pen and hold it up so I can see it. Grab your pen, hold it up, get yourself ready, and put your pen on your paper. I'm going to put the buzzer on. You're going to have 30 seconds, and this is a race. It's your subconscious brain as fast as you can. I'm going to ask you a question. You have 30 seconds. You're going to write down everything you can think of, okay? Are you ready? Give me a thumbs up at the screen if you're ready, or shout, I'm ready, or type, I'm ready. Here's the question. If you're not showing up right now in your life at a 10, like you can see the gap, a 10 in your relationship, a 10 in your body, a 10 in your business, a 10 in sales, in your career. If we're not showing up at a 10, take these next few minutes and jot down everything you can think of about this. Why? Go. And not surface level answers. You can shred this paper after if you want to, but what's the truth? What's really holding you back at this moment? Not 5 years ago, not pre-corona, not after corona, today, right now, what's in the way? Okay, timer is on, go. What is in the way? What's ever gotten in the way? Get really truthful with yourself. If you've put fear, what kind of fear? Fear of success, fear of failure, fear of being too much, fear of making more than your partner, fear of being successful and less connected with the people that you love. What is it? Is it, we hear time all the time in America. I don't have the time, I don't have the time. You know, what are these things? How many of you are just lazy from time to time? Put a hand in the air if you're lazy from time to time. Let me see. Let me see. Half of you couldn't even, look, Lynette, you're like halfway up. She couldn't even get her hand all the way up in the air. Come on, lazy, let's go. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Take a minute and jot it down. So Stephanie said that was on my list. She had lazy. Organization. What else? Drop it in the comment box. Let's start to see it. Okay, so we have fear of success. So fear, because fear of success, fear of failure, fear of being too much, fear of not being enough, fear of pain, fear of joy, fear of rejection, fear of love, fear of criticism, fear of causing someone else pain, fear of being too much, past failure or a story of the past. I lack optimism. Who said that? I lack strategic optimism. Fatai, I hope I'm saying that right. Sometimes it can be hard to be on a call with someone that is seemingly an optimist. So you're doing a great job today, considering I'm up here peeing glitter on you. Imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome. Balance. Overwhelm. Time. Time is an interesting one because, you know, we can always go out into the world and make more money. We can make more money whenever we want, but we can't make more time, you know? So time has much deeper meaning for us. It's the most important. Jealousy of others, that's huge. Where was that? Awesome. And usually that jealousy, if you were to just twist that a little bit, Kevin, is always just a representation of something that you either desire or a quality that's inside of yourself. So those are really, really good awarenesses. Is what I offer good enough? So questioning ourselves, no certainty. So that's lack of certainty. Okay, this is a good list. Let's start with this. How many of you feel like to be successful in any area of your life, you must first at least have a plan, second, commit to executing the plan, and third, have an unstoppable mental attitude? How many of you would agree with that? How many of you would also agree? Great, awesome, Stephanie. Yes, Sam, right there. How many of you would also agree that some of the things right now that are currently holding you back from a 10 are some of the exact same things that are holding you back in those other areas of life besides your business right now? Does your health affect your income? Does your income affect your emotional relationships? Do your emotional relationships affect your overall happiness? 50% of divorces in America today are caused by financial hardship, by the way. 50%. So these are all the reasons right now. These are all your leverages for why to step up, to move forward, to get away from this. That's great. But what are all of these things, right? We have a very scientific term for it. If Tony was on this call right now and he was like, hey, what's the why are you not showing up at a 10? KK, tell me what's going on. And if I spewed off to him all these things, I'm lazy, I'm afraid, I'm overwhelmed, I don't have the time. What do you think? What would you say, your best guess of what Tony would say all the things we're saying are? What would he say? He say with excuses, change your mindset. Yeah, so these things right here, and I want to just pause for a second to answer a question. Christy said, is it okay to see a gap and be content not closing it? Yeah, but you know if you're content or not, you know, but if you don't care about it, like I don't really care about becoming good at producing music. I have a gap there. I don't know the first thing about being a DJ. I have zero interest in doing that. Does that make sense? You know when it's a desire on your heart. So a gap is what is present and relevant to you, but not just ignoring the gap because it'd be easier not to focus on it. So what Tony would call all these things, which is really important, is he would call these things your BS. What does that stand for? Give it to me in the comment box. BS stands for what? Shout it out, baby. Shout it out from the rooftops. Write it on your arm. Put it in the comment box. BS stands for belief system. I know you thought I was going to say bullshit. Either one, they both work, right? What does BS stand for? It is your belief system. So your belief system, like, why is it that one person can produce extraordinary results in their business and in their life, and somebody else literally in the same company with the same training and the same resources isn't producing anything at all? Or how come some person has loving, passionate, world lit on fire relationships that make them feel connected and vibrant, and another person can't find the way? Or one person is constantly going to the gym and eating healthy, eating right consistently. Another person never has the time. Somebody is always finding a reason why they can make something happen. Another person is always finding the reason why they can't. What's the difference that makes the difference? What does it really truly come down to? What does it come down to? Is it the courage? Is it the discipline? Is it confidence? It comes down. What I'm really asking is, out of all of these things, examples, what's the difference? What drives one person to experience results and another person to consistently underproduce? Your belief system is the most powerful system in your world. How you feel about any given subject in your life, stems from your thoughts. Your thoughts determine your feelings, the way you feel in your body, and your feelings, emotion, creates motions, determines what you do about it. It determines your actions or your lack of action, which ultimately determines your results. So what's a belief? A belief, write this down, is a feeling of absolute certainty that you and I have about something. A belief is a feeling of absolute certainty that you and I have about something. And there are two kinds of beliefs. Write this down. The first type of belief that your brain will automatically form, the first type of belief is called a limiting belief. A limiting belief is a dream killer, right? It's the beliefs that limit you from taking action. So for example, I'm too young, I'm too old, I peaked in high school, I don't have a business degree, everybody hates me, I'm new to the industry, I won't succeed. We say these beliefs out loud, and those beliefs, when we're deciding between to do it or to not do it, a belief like that pulls you back into no execution zone, which takes you closer to what you want or further away from it. Which one? Closer or further? It pushes you further away, which wastes more what? And then, you know, a couple years go by and then you just have to get over that limitation because you have to produce the result and you have no more time to waste. So what if you came up with that belief sooner? What if you trained your brain to have that belief sooner? The belief that you want, the other type of belief, write this one down, is called an empowering belief. Empowering belief. Empowering beliefs encourage us to take massive action towards all of the things that we want to be, do, and achieve in our lives. I'll give you a great example of this. On the third day of a UPW event, Tony is on stage for about 12 to 13 hours straight. He doesn't even get off stage to pee. And on the third day of the event is the day that you build all of that leverage, those compelling reasons why. People get out of the third day and they're like, I remember who the F I am. You get out the third day and you're like, move over. And you have this drive inside of you again. Like your feet hit the ground in the morning and God is like, oh my gosh, like Trisha's here. You know, Kevin arrived. Like the earth is shaking when your presence is here because there's something inside that's alive about you again. And that is like leverage. That's that deep, compelling reason why. And all of you on the call, you have it already. You already have the leverage. You just need to identify it. I'll give you an example of limiting versus empowering beliefs. How many of you on here have either a dog or you have a kid? You have a son or a daughter or a child? Hold on that thought, stay there and answer in the comment box. What do you have a kid? Are you a mother or a father? And stay here, hold on. I am a mother as well. This is my little baby, okay? Her name is Harlow. And I'm gonna give you an example right now. How many parents on here are also, a limitation is like fear, doubt, lack of confidence? Who's ever been there before? Fear, doubt, lack of confidence sometimes. And how many of you parents in sales, okay? How many of you, if your child, hi baby, if your child was stuck in front of a moving bus, would you run in front of the bus to save that kid? Tell me. And look how fast you made that decision. I would run in front of a train for this baby right here. Takes a pretty confident person to make a move like that, doesn't it? Takes a pretty fearless person to run in front of a bus like that, doesn't it? Takes somebody with a good decision maker to run in front of a bus or a train. So in some areas of your life, you're willing to take massive action because you have leverage, because you have what type of belief inside of yourself? Empowering beliefs. An empowering belief pushes you to action. So ask yourself this. Let's say you wanted to produce $10,000 in commission this month, and the lives of your children depended upon you doing it. Could you make it happen? Would you make it happen? If you're going to remember anything that I say today, anything, if you remember one thing that I say today, remember this. You will never out-earn, outsell, or outperform your current belief system. You'll never, write that down. You will never out-earn, outsell, or outperform your current belief system. For example, you'll never make $100,000 a year in your business if you only cognitively believe that you can produce 60K. You'll never make $300,000 a year if you only believe that you're capable of bringing in $250,000, right? Forget about finding love and passion in a relationship if you don't believe there's anybody out there for you, or you aren't worthy of love. Is this making sense? In today's economy, are there people making money? Are there people not making money? So it has nothing to do with the market. It has nothing to do with frickin' COVID. It has everything to do with your mentality. Remember this, if there's someone out there in this life producing the results that you want, can you have those results as well? Whether you believe you can or you can't, you are always correct. And I'm going to show you how your beliefs, limiting or empowering, are going to equal the results that you're going to get this year, next year, and every single year in the future. And this is a system that Tony teaches first day of UPW. He teaches this. It's called the momentum model. The momentum model. When you have momentum, you create results. He teaches it for about 6 hours. I'm not even supposed to show it to you guys today, but I feel really connected with you, and I don't know how because I can't even see your videos, but I want to show you it. And I don't have a whole bunch of time left, but I'm going to fly through it here. So buckle up if you guys want to see it. Do you want to see it? Do you want to see how your beliefs trigger your money? Your beliefs trigger your results. You tell me yes or yes. Light it up. Beg for it. All right. Fine, I'll show you. Here we go. Drop this down on your page here. There's 4 boxes. 4 boxes. B, P, P, A, R. All right, so this is the momentum model. Now, the bottom left-hand box of this model, like how many of you on the call are aiming to produce specific results in your life this year? In business or in life, in your relationship, like you can think of some outcomes you want to get, like retire yourself or generate this much money or go on a trip or remodel the bathroom or new backsplash in the kitchen. Like you can think of some results that you want, right? Right? With your health, your vibrancy, your energy, give it to me. All right, so I ask you this. If you were to tap in truly to all 50% of your potential available to you right now, 50%, because if this limited person with all this limiting beliefs, this BS, created your results, they probably created results that are less than what you are capable of. So let's just say right now, in this moment right now, boom, you draw a line in the sand. You're like, holy heckin' Bob, I'm on the KK train. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm fired up. This moment I am declaring, I'm putting my stake, I'm waving, I'm giving notice to the world that this moment right now, I radically change everything. Who feels like that right now? I'm doing it for myself. I'm literally firing myself up on the call. I'm like ready to get out and close deals right now. Let's say this moment right now was the moment that everything changed. You tell me, if you tap into all 50% available to you, everything you got, how much money, this result box here, how much money would you produce in the next 12 months? Write the number down immediately, gut check reaction. And I don't want to hear like, oh, I could do 200, but let me just make it like 150 because whatever. Like go with the truth. What could you produce if you tapped into everything inside of you? Write that number down to the penny. Write that number down to the penny. If you tapped into all 50% that's been left on the table year after year after year after year, what would your financial results look like? Type that number in the comment box. Type it in the comment box right now. What's that number down to the penny? People are always, so weird about talking about money. Money is currency. Money is an energy. We've got 800K from Roseanne, 400K closed deals that I sourced, 1 mil from I Erickson. What else? Drop it in there. Drop it in there. What else? Give it to me. There's 40 of you on this call. Give me your numbers in the comment box. All right. Drop it into the penny. We got $1 million. What else? A lot of 7s. Is that like a numerology, something with numbers there? 500K, 777,000. I love it. And personal goal is 20 pounds lost. Awesome. I love that you added in a personal goal, because if you were to annihilate all these limitations, it's not just the money that you're making. You're going to do other things in your life as well. So our average as a team right now is $500,000. How many of you want to make $500,000 or more in the next 12 months? Put yes in the comment box. Who wants to be in the 500K club this year? And the cool thing is that this is completely possible. Has anyone else in your business ever made $500,000 before? Ever, right? So it's possible, and it's possible for you as well. We have a realistic goal. How many of you are committed to doing it? I'm gonna ask you this question right now, because there's a difference between wanting and thinking about it and being committed. If you're 100% committed to making that happen this year, put heck yes in the comment box. Put heck yes in the comment box. Okay, great. Now, look at this. Will I see my family ever if I commit? Walk through this with me. If you believe you can't, it's the belief that you have. If your belief is that success equals no family, then you'll live out that reality. But do you know a successful person that because of their success has been able to buy their time back and spend way more time with their family than they ever could? What if your belief was that to spend time with my family, I need to be more successful so that I'm not spending time with them and concerned about my money and concerned about this and concerned about that? What if the belief was opposite? What if your belief was that to have the family life that I want, I must, it's a must for me. It's a must for me, not an option. It's a must. And people always ask me, you're so money driven, KK. Why are you asking us about money? It's not about the money. I don't even care what this number is, but you tell me, if you annihilate this BS, you tap into all 50% that we've been missing out on year after year after year after year after year, and right now you utilize that 50%, you tell me, does it change the man or the woman that you become? If all of this BS was gone, are you a different person? So it has nothing to do with what's in this box. It has everything to do with who you become in the process, because at the end of the day, they can take away the boats and the cars and the vacations, and they can take away the money, but no one can take away the man or the woman that you've become. And this is where we need our leverage. So that little pupper over there, her name is Harlow. My leverage, I would run in front of a bus for her. I would run in front of a train for her. The same thing I would do with my niece. My niece, her name is Tula. She's the closest thing I have to a daughter. I go home and I look at Tula and I say, baby, I say, you can do anything that you want in this world. She wants to have a Princess Palace cupcake shop right now in Hollywood. Everything's made out of cupcakes, right? I say, you can do it. I literally look at her and I think, you can do anything in the world. Do any of you have a little person in your life that looks up to you and you look at them and you're like, oh my God, you pure flower, you can literally do anything in the world. That's truly how I feel. And she's looking at me and she's getting insights of what's possible for her based on my life. And so when I went to this event for the first time, it was like a little over 2 years ago, when I was making $38,000 sucking and telling myself, like I wasn't giving it to myself straight. I was like, well, for where I'm at, I'm doing pretty well. For what I'm doing pretty well. And I was making myself feel better about myself. But then I had a moment where I said, holy crap, Tula's going to grow up and she's going to say, Thea Karissa, I'm Greek. She's going to say, Auntie KK, aren't you so proud of me? I'm making $38,000 just like you. And I was like, I was like, oh my gosh, that was for me a line in the sand moment, because she was downloading and installing my limitation. And so if you have leverage like that in your life, be it a little person or a pupper, take that name. When I do this, our team does this all the time, this cycle here. I put her name in this result box. So I know that if I do what needs to become done to become this version of myself, it positively impacts her life. And if I fail to do it, if I don't do it because I'm lazy or because I'm disorganized or because I'm letting fear or imposter syndrome take over my life, that I'm actually creating that reality for her. And you get your own leverage. I don't know if that works for you. Let me know if you're feeling this right now, if it's stinging for you. But for me, I'll do whatever the hell it takes to produce this for her, because that's leverage for me. Who sees what I'm talking about right now? And someone, it says it stings, it burns. I know it does burn. But would we rather have it burn and then create something that we're proud of, or live in the zone where we kind of 2 years turns to 4 years, turns to 6, turns to 10 years, and we take a nice little trip to where? When is the best time to make this happen? Leaning into this discomfort, says Roseanne. Beautiful. In order for every single one of us on this call to produce these results, to become this version of you. And why don't you go ahead and name this version of you? Mine is, I call her Sasha. It's a fun little nickname I gave myself. And I know I said, what would Sasha do? What would Sasha do? Uncaged. I love that, right? What's a nickname you could give yourself that represents you at the next level? That's it, Sasha Fierce. It's literally my nickname. I have an 8-week program that I run for women. I was actually talking to Lisa a little bit about it. When I started with Tony, I started a community for women. I bring women to Tony events. So 1,000 women at a time get into the program. And we do 8 weeks of training leading up to his events. And we do an identity creation process. So 3 of those 8 weeks builds out this identity so that it's not like something we think about. It's like literally becomes who you are. It's living inside of you. But you do the work to make that yourself, right? And I give myself this name and I ask myself to make this happen, for you to make this happen, for you to create these results in your life as real, not as something we wish upon, but real. Are there specific and measurable actions that we must take in our lives on a day-to-day basis? You know, and what type of action? Little bit of action or massive action? Which one? Little or massive? Let me know in the comment box. A little bit of action or massive action? Drop it in the comment box, right? Massive action. In order for you to take massive, focused, determined action toward your results, how much of your potential must you tap into? A little bit of your potential or all of your potential? And what's the potential of a human being, by the way? It's like you could do all. Yeah, you could do unlimited. You could do whatever. Most humans just settle for less than we're capable of. Who's the only person that steals your potential? Yeah, no one's going to like break into our houses tonight and be like, where'd they hide the potential? Where's the potential up in here? Is it in the kitchen? Is it in the bedroom? I'm going to find the potential. It's right. Like we steal our own potential every day. For us to tap into everything we're capable of, to take the action to produce these results, what type of belief must we train our brains to form about the market, the economy, COVID, your relationship, that crappy thing that happened to you 5 years ago, whoever brought up past stories, right? What type of belief do we have to form about all of those things? Limiting or empowering? An empowering belief about all of that, but most importantly, an empowering belief about who? Yourself. Empowering beliefs coupled with massive action create new patterns. I'll give you an example. Let's suppose someone's working in sales and they've been in the industry for, you know, let's call it 10 years. Any of you know someone that's been in sales for 10 years? And let's say they've been crushing it, right? They crushed it for a little bit. They did well. They love the freedom. They wanted to be their own boss, but still have great compensation, an uncapped plan, and they were killing it. And then something happened where it got too much. It was annoying. They couldn't close deals. It was affecting their home life. They weren't making money. You know, they lacked leverage. It was affecting relationships. In life, they started to get sour and there was lack of fulfillment. How many of you can think of somebody in sales that's ever lacked fulfillment and it just started to become a drag? When you think of that person, let's call that person Johnny. Johnny, at that point in his life, does he have a limiting belief or an empowering belief about life, the market, himself? Which one? Drop it in the comment box really fast. Not making money, not closing deals because of a whole bunch of limitation. He's got limiting beliefs, right? With those limitations, with the belief, with the business, with himself, with that type of mindset, is Johnny going to tap into more or less of his potential? More or less. Put it in the comment box real fast. More or less. Put it in the comment box. Let's go, everybody. Pick up that energy in the comment box. I need your answers here. All right, so he's going to tap into less potential. If he taps into less potential, do you think he's going to be taking more or less action on a day-to-day basis? So he takes less action every day. Do you think he produces $500,000? Yes or no? No. And then he doesn't produce the results that he wants. And at this point, he's saying things like, I told you so. The market sucks. I told you so. Buyers are liars. Sellers are worse. It's my crappy leads, right? The economy sucks. The virus is sabotaging everything. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. It doesn't work for someone like me. You don't understand. And I'm like, I overstand. What starts to happen when Johnny says all of these things out loud? He starts to believe his doubts, doubt his beliefs. He feels stuck, frustrated, unmotivated, takes less and less action, and gets worse and worse results. Who sees what I mean right now? Who sees it? Come on, who sees it? Even if it stings, who sees what I mean right now? I'm not saying that all of us on this call as sales professionals have all of this BS and your life is absolutely awful. All I'm saying is you've got one or two of these things right now. One or two of these things right now that are effing it up. You've got at least one limiting belief right now that's sabotaging quite a bit. How many of you can think of at least one limitation that you currently have that's really, really impacting your results? If you can see that one belief, I want you to circle that one belief and then let me know what that one is. Roseanne says 2. That's fine. Circle both of them. Circle the 1 or 2 things and drop it in the comment box. Let me know what is the limitation. What is the one thing, and let me know in the comment box. What is it? Fear of what others think. Awesome. What's another one? Fear of what others think. So we've got that fear. What else? What's the one thing? What's the couple things that you go back to, the crutch, the one that you lean on? I can't succeed to the level that I've been at before. Awesome, recognizing that. I am inadequate. Overwhelm. Awesome, Hillary. Do I deserve this success? Lack of confidence, and I can always do it later. So procrastination. How many of you procrastinate? Hand up in the air. Right? Rest of you are just going to raise your hands later. I see you, procrastinators. You're like, I'll get to that. Fear, procrastination for sure. Others are more qualified, lazy. So how long have the things you all circled, how long have those things been going on in your life? How long have you had those things? A day, a week, a month, since last Tuesday, or what? My entire friggin' life, says Randy. Yeah, there was a study done at Stanford University, and it proved that human beings learn 50% of their patterns by the age of 5 and 95% of their patterns by the age of 18. So majority of the things that you're doing, you learned when you were a child. So I want us to look at these patterns and limitations right now and ask ourselves so we can build leverage. Because you're right now about to experience a massive breakthrough, I will tell you that. So perk up, wake up, shoulders back. Everyone lift the shoulders back, lift the head up, engage the body, shake out the body, and answer me this question. Be 100% honest with yourself. When you look at those limitations, those patterns, those beliefs, those things that you've circled in your past, what have those patterns cost you? How have they impacted your life in a good way or a bad way? What have those things cost you year after year? Like financially, cost my marriage, my joy, my freedom. Someone says in a negative way, right? Or time away from our family, as some of you deeply care about, or your dog. What's it done to your physical body or your health? How much money are we leaving on the table year after year after year? What's the impact that it's had in our relationships? Does any great coach in your life tell you what you want to hear or what you need to hear? Which one? Want or need? Tell you what you want to hear, what you need to hear. Right, and the truth is that in a few minutes, like I'm a little over time. We've got about 5 minutes left together. In a few minutes, I'm gonna be leaving you, and who's gonna be left for you besides Lisa? Right? Yourself. So you've got to be able to coach yourself through these limitations when they show up to knock them down. right? Because let's say I get off this call right now. Let me ask you this question. If I took this marker and I threw it outside into the parking lot and I left it there for 5 years and I came back 5 years later, is that going to be the same marker, a better marker, or a worse marker? Same, better, or worse? Which one? Same, better, or worse? Really quick, give it to me. Which one? Which one? Worse, because nothing in life stays the same. It's like nature or a plant. It's growing or it's dying. So let's say I collected all of you off of this Zoom call and I threw you out into your lives and I sentenced you to 5 more years. 5 more years of that limitation that you circled. 5 more years of not believing in yourself. 5 more years about wondering what people think of you. 5 more years about like having no confidence. 5 more years of leaning on an old story that you're inadequate. We're breaking down. We're deteriorating. We're actually dying on the inside. Whether it's business or life, we're either moving forward, progressing, or we're getting left in the dust by our competitors or ourselves, who we are meant to be. That's what these things do. This started off, I wasn't expecting to go down this route with you, but this started off as sales. But really what sales is congruency, is confidence, is alignment inside of yourself. My friends, on the call today, isn't it true that the past, stay with me here, the past, all of this up until this moment right now does not have to equal your future unless you choose to live there? Isn't it true that the past does not have to equal the future unless we choose to live there, right? Like you're not the same person you were 10 minutes ago. Some of you are saying, I don't want to lose this feeling, right? It's a biochemical shift inside of you, a new distinction, a light bulb moment, a conversation where you're like, this is it. This is the end. This is the moment. The only person that can create change in your life is who? The outer world, what we experience on a day-to-day basis, is just a reflection of what's going on in here, our inner world, our mentality, our mindset. Let's say nothing changes. Let's say we get off this call and you go back into your life and you have the same market, the same economy, the same marriage, the same leads, the same boss, everything's the same. Let's say nothing changes in the external world and the only thing that changes is here. A perspective shift, a new belief. Let's say the only thing changes is you, or you're walking on fire, you're UPW, you're unleashing your power within, right? You're drinking the KK Kool-Aid, you work with me every single week. Let's say something like that, right? And you get off this call and your shoulders are back and you're walking around and you've got all this confidence inside of yourself. Like realistically speaking, if now is the moment, right? Randy says everything was changed. If now is the moment where you got off this call and everything was the same, but you got off this call and experienced life differently. Realistically speaking, if you annihilated these limitations, how much more production, percentage-wise, would each of you produce in just the next 12 months? Tell me, what is it? 100%, says Roseanne. 100%, says Roseanne. 50% more. Right here, that 50%. What else? What percentage would you grow your business? 200%. What else? What else? What percentage of growth would be real for you? It would become contagious to people around you as well, but what percentage for you? It's important that you get a percentage, and I want you to write that number down. I want you to write that number down. Whatever percentage it is, write it down and put it in the comment box, because that's a percentage. That's great. Let's translate that in what it means in additional income. Take that number. If it's 100%, that translates into $100,000. That's the actual conversion of mentality into money, okay? If you put 50%, that's $50,000. If it's 200%, that's $200,000. If it's 75%, that's $75,000. Everyone write down the money that your percentage translates to on your page right now. Write that down. Because that's the money and that's great. How many of you want an extra 100K in the next 12 months? Put a hand up if yes, right? And that's not the only thing that would change. What else would change in your life, right? Less stress. Maybe you could pay for your kids' education with that money, or you'd have the freedom to do something that you enjoy. But let's look at these facts in a different way. We want to know what the risk is of not tapping in and taking this money off the table right now. So let's say that you took this money, like 100% is $100,000. Or on average right now, you guys are, let's call it 75%. 75% average is 75,000. Well, you have 200, so we'll go with 100. $100,000. How many years have you guys been in sales? How many years have you been in sales? 32. What else? What else? 25, 4. What else? 15, 20, 25. So average right now, let's call it 17 years. That's $1.7 million of production that we have missed out on by something as simple as mentality. And there's 43 of you on here. That's $73.1 million that is being left on the what? Table on this call. Can you imagine Utah women in sales? If you guys on this call collectively, all of you, men and women, put your head together and we're like, now this is the moment. This is the moment right now. And you grabbed the $73 million that we have missed out on because of mindset. What if you stepped up right now? Imagine, I just want you to imagine right now, shift your body the way that the leader in you sits at the next level. Move your body into that right now. Imagine stepping up right now and saying, no more. I will not let these outside patterns, these limitations control the way that I internally feel on the inside, right? I will no longer let limiting patterns or beliefs control my life. I will control my patterns. Maybe you work with the #1 success coach on the planet to do that, or you train consistently, or you go swimming. You remember these analogies. Maybe you no longer let the external circumstance dictate your internal world. So now your beliefs, your new result is that you are a freaking outstanding sales professional, and anyone would be foolish not to do business with you, because when everyone else is busy serving down here, you're freaking serving up here. It doesn't matter what's happening in the market or the economy. You're executing incredible follow-up. You're making calls every single day. You're asking for referrals. You're doing whatever it takes. When everybody else serves here, you go a level up. You have absolute confidence in yourself, certainty in who you are, in the market, in the economy. Are these empowering beliefs or are they limiting beliefs? Which one? Are these empowering beliefs or are they, who can feel it inside of yourself on the end of the freaking computer screen? With these types of empowering beliefs, would you tap in to more or less of your potential? More or less action? More or less results? In our lives, we just are running programs. These are just programs that we're running. And I'm going to give you one piece of advice right now as we close out today. That this one thing, I would tattoo it on your arm. I would write it inside of your journal. It's a one-liner that Tony shared with me that's transformed everything in my life. And for millions of other people. All these things are as programs, and I'll get by program, a maybe someday program, a when I have the time, a when I have the money program. It's like Albert Einstein, one of the most intelligent men on the planet, right? He says, if we expect to make more money, but we run the same patterns over and over and over, that's insanity. It's the same thing with ourselves. These are just programs, and I'll get by program, a maybe someday program, a when I have the time program, a when the kids graduate program. They're all programs, and they're programs because we say those limitations out loud. And one time Tony said to me, looked me dead in the eye and said, he said, KK, you can keep your limitations as long as you want to argue for them. He says, you can keep your limitations as long as you want to argue for them. But the difference, check this out. You have two belief systems. You have a limiting belief system and you have an empowering belief system. Sasha, whatever you name this person, and then you also have this person. I named mine Griselda. And the difference between these two belief systems is a 2mm shift in your mindset. That's it. It's a 2mm shift in your mindset. So when you're in the middle of making decisions of your life, in your life, you make one shift in your belief system. And I've got like 2 minutes, I think, left here. All right. I think I've got 2 minutes left here. And I want to wrap up with you guys by sharing with you that this is, yes, it comes from our event UPW. There's 4 days of it. It's like mentality day, right? You take your limitations and you convert them into power, and you walk over these coals and you learn influence and skills, and transferring that influence to somebody else and influencing the most important person, which is yourself, right? And then you have your health and your energy, your vitality, all these components across those 4 days. I hope I did my job today in sharing with you what a mini version of that is like, so that we can start to close this gap. How many of you feel like today you got insane amounts of value? You feel like today brought you closer to what you are going for in your life? I promise you that this would be the best outside training that you've had all year. Did I follow through on that for you? Yes? Oh, you said I needed this so much. Okay, great. How many of you want to continue this journey? You don't want this to be the end, but you want it to be the starting line. How many of you do not want this to be the end, but the starting line? All right, that's my invitation for you, to not let this be the end. A lot of people get on a call, they do a training, and then this becomes the thing for them. They say, okay, great, I did that training, and they go out for the rest of their lives, and that's all they accomplish. All right, so I encourage you to let this be the start, and to never leave the scene of a decision. So if you're deciding that this is the start, never leave the scene of a decision without scheduling in a commitment, that guarantees fulfillment. Never leave the scene of a decision without scheduling in a commitment that guarantees fulfillment. So whatever that is for you, if it's an email you have to send, a call you have to make, buy the Peloton, book the course, do the next UPW, Tony Robbins, whatever it is, book your thing. So it schedules you and guarantees your fulfillment. All right. I know I'm out of time. I wanted to do referral training with you guys, but if you want to work with me, I run that 8-week training program for women, but I do a program for everybody as well, all genders. How many of you would want some more info on that? I can share that with you in like literally 10 seconds here. Okay, me please, me please, me please. Okay, cool. So the next program, take your pen out and just jot all this down. I'll share it with you guys. We actually put you guys we've made a link with you guys to have a discount for the next Tony event, but I'll loop in both of these